What is going on, squad? Strap in, because we're going to talk about all the exercises on the Iso Chain and Isomax that involve the quadriceps. And turns out there's a lot of them, and some you're doing on one leg. One leg? One leg. Let's get into it. First one, the front squat. So the front squat, I'll admit, is one of the exercises that I immediately didn't like right away. And the reason why is it's not that it's a bad exercise per se, it's that my wrist mobility is crap. And if your wrist mobility is crap, that makes the front squat on the Iso Chain, Isomax, or with a barbell really freaking difficult. But if you do have the wrist mobility, you can really focus on that rotation, really getting up under the bar and blasting into the bar. Your quads are going to be in for a wild freaking ride. I've heard great reviews on the front squat. I'm a little envious of them, but it is what it is. They have the wrist mobility. Go ahead and use it. Absolutely great exercise to target the quadriceps. Exercise number 2, it's a squat. Who knew, right? It's a split squat. Now the split squat I really like. Now they want us to set up the split squat in the same hand positioning as with the front squat. Again, if you had the wrist mobility, go ahead and do that. What I like about the split squat is that I've utilized the Zercher squat variation, where you put the bar in between your bicep and your forearm, and then you get on one foot, place it on the base plate, and then drive into the quad. The trick with this exercise is that you really have to get underneath the bar. If you're too far in, you're going to put too much pressure on your lower back. It's going to throw you all out of whack. That rhyme not intentional, but if you get it right, you will feel a burn like no other. This is one of the few exercises where my legs were shaking early into the 6x6. Because it really focuses, like unilateral exercises are really good if you have an imbalance, and my left leg is weaker than my right, even though both shook. Great exercise. If you have been doing the same leg exercise and you're targeting your thighs, highly recommend this one. I really feel like this was one of the key movers to fixing my knee pain a couple years ago. Exercise number 3, the hack squat, or hack lift as it's called in Paul Wade's Isometric Manual. I freaking love this exercise. You will feel this exercise. You will really feel this exercise if you're crazy enough to do a hypertrophy lift on it. Your freaking quads are going to light up like you never felt them before. It's essentially a deadlift, but the bar is behind you. All the exercises that I'm mentioning in this video, if you haven't seen it, I have a playlist right here on how to perform these exercises. They're a little old now. I'm sure they could be produced better, but I was a noob on YouTube and I didn't really have the best equipment, but the value is still there on how to perform it correctly. So if you want to see it, here's a link right here. Go and check that out. Great exercise. I use it to this day. I love it. Exercise number 4, the pistol squat. So I was gonna leave this one for last because I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've only done this exercise one time since 2020 because I can't do it. I'm sorry, man. This is the hardest exercise out of all the isometric exercises in the manual. This is the hardest one. For some, it might be easy. You know, hats off to you. I'm sorry, man. Like, this was freaking hard. I hated doing that video. But if you want to work on your balance and you want to work on stabilizers, this would be the exercise to perform. It's not really that often that we get to work our stabilizers on the Iso Chain and Isomax because we're stable, but we still have to utilize balance for some of these unilateral exercises. So go ahead and try the pistol squat. I recommend practicing first. Chances are if you can do a pistol squat, the Iso Chain or Isomax version will come a lot easier to you. Who knew? Exercise number 5, the straddle lift, aka the Jefferson squat. I actually ran into the Jefferson squat when Kai Green started talking about it, and he made a couple videos. Oh my god, this was years ago, and you know how his quads are bigger than my entire hip circumference. So yeah, it clearly works. And I really like with the Isomax in particular how we're able to really get deep and really drive the quadriceps as our upper body is in the upright position. The bar is at an angle and it's nowhere but up. You do a 6x6 with that, you're wobbling out of the room. Is what it is. If you haven't done the Jefferson squat, highly recommend doing this. I really like to cycle this exercise into my Isomax leg training. Exercise number 6, the quad exercise that I've been doing the most on the channel and period up until mid 2021, and that is the Zercher squat. The Zercher squat is really good, but what I would say is its only downfall is as you really start to push in at forces over, I would say 150 pounds, it starts to hurt. So if you've ever done the Zercher squat and you kind of get rubbed raw in between your bicep and your forearm, you were probably doing it right, but it does start to irritate you, especially if you're doing a 6x6. So keep that in mind. The workaround that I've used for this is to wear elbow sleeves. So if you don't know where to get those, I've always used Copper Fit. So I have a link in the description on our NoLimitSquad Amazon store. Definitely go ahead and get that. I feel like those are the best bang for your buck versions, though you can get whatever you want. I really like this exercise. Just make sure that you really get underneath. Do not stick your butt out. Make sure you get underneath the bar so that's going to your quadriceps and not your lower back. When I was new to the exercise, I was doing it right about 50% of the time. And I wonder why I was getting lower back problems. One, because my lower back was in a terrible place at the beginning of this channel's history, but this didn't make it any better. Get underneath the bar. Great exercise though. Exercise number 7, the plie squat. This one, I tend not to do that much, but it is a very good exercise. Now, here's what you're gonna need to do. You want to get that front squat wrist mobility. Immediately for me, that cancels me out of it. But if you have the ability to do that, do the plie squat. All right, and it's just like how you perform one in the weight room. You have your feet angled out, and again, I explained this in the how-to series, but you have your feet angled out, and what this is going to do is this is going to work your hip adductors as well. Great exercise to go ahead and target that, really get into the groin as well, and work those tendons, and that's really important to get in there, especially for the men, because we don't really do that. I'm not gonna get into that, but y'all kind of see where I was going with it. Exercise number 8, the side squat. Okay, this is a low-key sleeper. This exercise and the last one on the list for this video are really good exercises. I don't do the side squat too much, but I've had my clients use it to great effect. They definitely feel it. You're gonna have to utilize that front squat wrist mobility for this exercise, but you have one foot on the plate and you have the other foot off. You want to make sure that your body is upright, you're not leaning back. A lot of these you can easily cheat it and lean forward, but then your butt is sticking out, you're not getting the quadricep activation that you want. Okay, and then you're gonna run into lower back fatigue and possibly pain over time if you keep doing it incorrectly. So again, check that how-to video playlist out. Great exercise for some unilateral training. Again, another one that's gonna work the hip adductors to great effect. A way to program this real quick is you can do 3 on the left leg and 3 on the right leg. There's your 6x6. And the last one, the exercise that I thought was so dumb but is so freaking good, is the sissy squat. Now the sissy squat looks like it's a tough setup. You're going to have some trouble at first, unless your balance is great, and in which case go to town. But when I first started doing this, I'm like, you know, I'm not really too sure about this. This just looks like a more difficult version of the hack squat. Not true. This exercise is probably the best exercise to bulletproof your knees on the Isomax. You can debate that if you want, and feel free to have your own opinion. This is just what I've found. The second one, in my opinion, is the split squat, and the split squat did wonders for my knees. But I'm willing to bet, had I done the sissy squat in the beginning of the channel's history, for my knees, I would have recovered that much faster and strengthened them that much faster. You feel it in your knees, but not in a painful way. It feels like pressure being built up. I love the feel. If you have any type of knee issue, first of all, work slowly into the sissy squat, but use the sissy squat. Get on a 6-week cycle for the sissy squat 2 to 3 times a week. Maybe blast it for like a 3x6 at first to get used to it, and then work your way up to a 6x6. You are going to be feeling like a new human being. This I promise you. Or unsubscribe. The sissy squat, yes, it's that good. It's that good because I've had knee pain. Knee pain is no fun. If y'all know what I'm talking about, comment below. Those are the exercises. What'd you think? If you came up with one on your own, comment down below. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And Thank you so much to our No Limit Squad patrons. I appreciate you. And if you're not yet part of the squad, hit that subscribe button. Come join the squad with us. We'll see you next video. Peace.